Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Success Insight podcast. Our guest today is Andrée Martin, your leadership mindset and golf performance coach. And as you all know, when Andrée is on our show, we know it's Mindset Monday, and we have a very interesting topic in store for you. Just to give you a little background about Andrée, she is an LPGA Class A Life member, a nationally recognized top 50 golf teacher and expert, and a member of the Maine Golf Hall of Fame. Recognizing golf's value as a business tool in today's competitive marketplace, Andrée works with individuals, groups, corporate and organizational clients to create educational and team-building programs that enhance the professional success of aspiring executives. Andrée, welcome back to the Success Insight podcast.
Thanks, Howard. It's always good hanging out with you and helping everybody with their mindset and getting them back to better golf and better business.
Fantastic. And I know in this day of COVID-19, mindset and staying healthy and staying focused is an essential must-do for us to come out the end of this crisis in a much better shape. So what's in store for us today?
Absolutely. And from day one, we've always talked about going for the gold.
Right.
How do we really keep our focus moving positively forward and creating opportunity? And today's topic is think one shot ahead. Think one shot ahead. And how many of us are playing and producing and conducting our business and our golf games anticipating one shot ahead? And why is that so important?
I remember years ago, and for whatever reason, I just have always remembered this, is a neighbor of mine. He was a doctor, and I think we were driving to he and his family's new house. I was going to cut the lawn, and I was going to stay overnight to accomplish this. And I remember we were on the highway, and he was just espousing some pearls of wisdom. And I in my eyes, Dr. Earl could do no wrong. And I remember him saying once, the secret to good driving is not the car in front of you, but it's the car in front of them. And I also talk to my clients, especially when they are on LinkedIn and they're doing some job search, some research about who the potential employers are. And I talk to them not about communicating your brand and your value to your potential employer. And that's very important, but also to think about, and this gets back to the one shot ahead, is think about who their clients are, their customers are, because in reality, you're not only serving your employer, but you're serving their customers, their clients as well. In my mind, it fits into the one shot ahead, but that, again, without you going into the detail I know you're going to go into, I guess we'll see how close I am.
As you share that, it made me actually think of growing up on the ski slopes. The audience may or may not know my big love recreationally, since golf is my business. I absolutely love to downhill ski. And the fall line is the line that you always looked ahead to. You are always looking 3 and 4 and 5 moguls ahead and more. You're always anticipating ahead so that you could plan your path and navigate your path to, I guess I could use a golf term here, the target. Because the target on the ski slope is just how do you have fun and carve and anticipate the edges you want to carve and where and when as you go down the slope. In golf, it amazes me how many golfers are just hitting the shot at hand, but aren't really thinking about where they're going. Yes, they're on a hole. Yes, they know they need to hit to the green. But let's just say, for example, we're on a par 5. And most players play a par 5 where you hit 3 shots and hopefully the third one goes on the green, 2 putts, and you keep going. Well, on the tee box, I'm actually looking not at the fairway I want to hit to and hitting in the middle of it. I'm looking, okay, if I place my drive here, how is that going to set up my second shot so that my third one easily nails the best part of the green that sets me up for birdie?
So would that mean that part of the thought pattern is not necessarily to hit the longest possible shot, whack it as hard as you can to get it to the middle of the fairway, but maybe lay up just a little bit because an angle might be a little bit better 10, 20 yards short of where you can hit it? Is that what you're alluding to?
That's another big piece of it. Thinking one shot ahead it's where I was going with the primary initial piece is just placement.
Okay.
Where's the flat part? Where do I want to miss it? If I miss it well, where would that be? As I hit it well, where would that be? Where do I not want to go? And if I hit my drive to a slope that's going to kick me further down the hill, yes, to your point, maybe I don't want to hit driver because there's a bunker that sets me up in the hill that's going to kick you into the rough. Whereas if you hit a 3-wood, you might end up in a flatter area. In addition to that, on the next shot going into the green, where do I want to be? Maybe there's 2 possible landing areas for the driver. And given where the flag is on that particular day, I might want to have my next shot be on the left side of the fairway versus the right side of the fairway so that I have an easy angle coming into the flag. I'm not having to go over the bunkers, which are hazards. I'm not having to go over mounds or fescue or water. I might be able to cut that out and just have a straight shot into the flag and have a lot more green to work with.
So when we're at the tee box, and I know most of the cards have an image of that particular hole on the card, or there's a map at the box, at the tee of here's what the hole looks like. So what I hear you saying is rather than just going up there, cranking away, but really thinking about this is where I want my first shot. This is where I want my second shot, third shot.
Yes.
Onto the green, 2-putt. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you and I have talked a lot about the different styles of players and how they play. There are bigger risk takers than others. There's strategic players. There's thinkers. There's left brain and right brain players. Left brain person is going to be much more strategic, whereas a right brain player is more big picture oriented. They're looking at a bigger zone perhaps, or not, a wider target perhaps, or in a different, more creative way. What creative shot can they shape going into the next shot? If they place their drive in this position, what kind of shot can they shape and be more confident in if they put it in this other location? Whereas a strategic player knows, okay, I'm X amount of yards from here. I'm X amount of yards from here to that hazard, to the front of the green, to the middle of the green, the back of the green. And so you've got both players, but in both cases, even though you've got left and right brain styles and feel and visual learners, they're all the smartest players on tour are all thinking and anticipating ahead in every moment.
How does this translate into the business world? What are your thoughts there?
Well, it's interesting because I think in many ways, businesses have been sent a big curveball with COVID, right?
Right.
And everybody's taking a look at things all over again. I know for a fact that some days your rhythms are off and you're going to hit the hazard more often than not. Or you're just going to flat hit a hazard whether you plan to or not. And I look at COVID as a big hazard. But that doesn't mean you can't recover. There's always other options. And how clearly and concisely are we looking at all the options? Or are we so wrapped up in the fact that, oh my God, I hit it in the damn hazard. And you're just wallowing in the fact that you had what I call a tin cup moment. Howard, I know you know that movie quite well, where he hit it in the water, because that's where his focus was, versus all this possibility of other ways to get around the hazard or the obstacle in the way to get to the goal. Golf's a wonderful metaphor for that. And in business, it's very easy to be reactionary. And when you're reactionary, you're just hitting it. Mm. But when you say, okay, wait a minute, what's occurring now? What does the team need to do to create more? What is the possibility out there, and going through all your planning and for all of that. And then strategically, what's the best direction to go in with what plan in order to attain the best ROI or the best sale?
This whole metaphor of think one shot ahead, and I can picture it specifically in the automotive industry. And I say this because my brother-in-law was an engineer, or still is an engineer, with one of the big companies, and he works in the area of paints. And I know as the vehicles go down the through the production cycle, everything is scheduled that day. They know exactly what they're going to produce any given day. They know when they have to turn the machinery on, when they have to turn it off. Maybe there's some maintenance that's scheduled. And so everything is about planning ahead, cleaning out the paint. I could be totally wrong at this. I don't know. I'm not there with him. But I imagine if you're going to go from a red car to a blue car, you have to, fill the paint up, run some material through, get the paint working. And then when you're done with that run of, red car parts, then you have to stop it, empty it, clean it, prep it again for the next run. But all that work is scheduled. So if you're in operations, if you're in sales, marketing, every facet of the business, and I think lots of other businesses have a planning ahead. I know what I need to look at. I know what I need to pay attention to. And if things throw a curveball at me, I know how I'm going to react to it. And so I would agree. I mean, this think one shot ahead is definitely, while it's very applicable on the golf course, it's extremely applicable in the business world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really is.
Very good. Well, Andrée, I want to thank you for joining us on another episode of Mindset Monday. And I actually love this idea of thinking one shot ahead. And like I say, it brought back a memory that was way back in the vault with that I had long ago with my neighbor. So I do appreciate you also helping to invigorate that memory again. And I'm looking forward to our next episode on the Success Insight podcast. But before we leave, where are the best places for our listeners to go so that they can learn more about you and your work?
Well, you can go to my YouTube site, Andrée Martin Golf, and you can go to my Facebook site, and I'm also on LinkedIn. Happy to help everybody.
Fantastic. And you also have the Andrée Golf website as well.
And I have andreegolf.com. Absolutely.
Fantastic. And we'll most certainly put links back to all of the sites on our show notes. So thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we have just been chatting with Andrée Martin, and this is an episode of Mindset Monday. Think one shot ahead. And as a reminder, Andrée is our leadership mindset and golf performance coach, and we just love having her on the show so we can really take a look at the confluence between the world of golf and what it takes to become a very capable golfer out there. Likewise, how the world of golf can apply very nicely into the world of business. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Success Insight Podcast. Do go out and visit Andrée at andreegolf.com. As a reminder, she is on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and we will provide the backlinks to those sites on our show notes. If you were intrigued by today's episode, and we'd love to hear your comments. So visit us on successinsightpodcast.com and put a comment down below the show. We'd love to hear from you. You can also visit us on LinkedIn and on Facebook on successinsightpodcast.com, as well as on our YouTube channel. All right, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a phenomenal day. Stay safe, practice social distancing, take care of yourselves, your family, and be tuned into your loved ones as well, friends, and just take good care of each other, okay? We'll see you on the next episode of the Success Insight Podcast. Take care now.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.